Hello again. This is Satan's Trilogy. I'm reading Book 3, Chapter 2, and we're at reading 80. I am the narrator and the author. Sit back, relax, and let the story unfold. We now have a professional wrestling ring installed in our warehouse. Esther smiled as she reached the wrestling ring. The wrestling ring is completely conforming to the W.O.W standards. Before we leave for the night, I want everyone to climb into the ring and experience the flex of the floor. This is how the wrestlers manage to survive each other. If you keep the match in the ring, the poundings really aren't that bad. Next to the wooden steps leading to the top of the ring was a 3-foot circular trampoline. Riley Grace quickly noticed it and said, "Is that for jumping into the ring?" Esther backed up several feet, removed her cowgirl boots, and said, "Yes, it is." Then Esther ran up to the trampoline, jumped on the center of it, and was propelled over the ropes. Grabbing the top rope as she passed over it, Esther held on and landed on her feet. "I can do that," said Riley Grace. Raven spoke up. "Remove your shoes first." Raven smiled at her younger sister. Esther spoke up. "I will help with your landing if necessary." Looking thrilled, Riley quickly took her shoes off and made the jump, joining Esther in the ring. The mat extended out 2 feet beyond the ropes, and so it was possible to walk to the center of the ropes and spread them apart to enter the ring. Soon, everyone was in the ring, bouncing up and down to feel the flex on the floor. I want everyone to help Danielle and Tracy to become familiar with working in the ring. So I want you to use any offensive move on the girls that you have learned in the last 3 nights. Go in our usual order against them, and when I ring the bell, stop. Move away, and another attacker should move on them. Any questions? Esther grabbed the top of the rope, jumped over it, and then jumped to the floor. On the edge of the wrestling ring, Esther grabbed a small hammer tied to a circular bell and hit it. The sound was exactly like the W.O.W used to start and stop matches. Day and Raven attacked Danielle and Tracy. They made quick, aggressive moves and managed to hold them for a split second until the twins made their defensive moves and escaped. Esther rang the bell and yelled out, "Next two, move quickly." Most of the matches went very quickly and seemed evenly skilled. Riley Grace and Eve were the last in the group to move against the twins. Eve moved against Danielle and held her in an arm lock for the entire 6 minutes. Riley Grace had thrown Tracy Ann to the mat and held her in a wrist lock that Tracy couldn't escape from. Esther rang the bell. Jumping up to the mat, Esther started talking to Danielle and Tracy. "That was wonderful. You two are really great. You need to increase your stamina and do some aerobics and light weight training. The fans are going to love you both." Esther looked very pleased and added one final suggestion. "When you are in the ring, if someone swings you into the ropes, grab the ropes and do not allow it to propel you back onto the attacker. If someone propels themselves into the ropes to gain momentum against you, step to the side and handle them from an angle." Esther stood in front of the twins. "All right," Esther said. "Enough training. This is your last night with us. Why don't the 2 of you pick where we eat tonight?" Danielle and Tracy looked at each other, jumped up and down for a second, and then yelled out, "Taco Bell!" Danielle quickly added, "And we want to treat everyone. It's a thank you dinner from us to you." Esther laughed. "Everyone loves Taco Bell. This will be wonderful. My cousins own a Taco Bell, maybe 12 minutes from here on Camp Street." Raven spoke up. "Sure, we all know where it is. Riley Grace and I will meet everyone there." Riley Grace spoke up too. "I love Taco Bell, and I am really, really hungry." Esther laughed and said, "Well, Taco Bell it is. Does anyone here not know where it is?" No one answered, and so Esther said, "I will see everyone at Taco Bell." Everyone quickly left the warehouse as if it was on fire, leaving Esther alone at the warehouse entrance with the 3 neighborhood young men. Esther pulled the door shut and then turned towards the 3 men. "I have a cousin. He runs a security business that covers this region of town. He needs 3 men to train for his security business." Esther handed each young man a card. "That is his business card with his address. On the back is your appointment with him for 8:30 tomorrow morning." Esther smiled as they took the cards. "My cousin is Chinese. Does that create an issue with any of you?" Nick looked at the other 2 young men and then turned to Esther. "If it is a job, I don't care what nationality or race he is." "You will need a car," said Esther. Nick looked at Esther and said, "Cars cost money. We don't have either." Esther pulled a car fob out of her pocket, and a Jeep sitting across the street beeped twice as she handed the fob over to Nick. "I am providing a car for your use. It is insured and licensed. With any luck, my 3 new friends will be protecting my building. That is a plus for me." Esther smiled at the 3 men. Esther then added, "I spoke with my cousin. He'll not ask any of you to take a drug test for at least 2 months. But then, if you fail, you're put on probation. A second failed test and you lose your job." Esther thought for a split second and added, "Pays $30,000 the first year, $40,000 the second year, and $50,000 the third year. All you have to do is be drug-free and take a few courses on security measures within big business." Mike and Jake became very excited once Esther mentioned the $50,000 salaries on the third year. Nick said, "Why are you helping us?" Esther gave Nick a big smile. "Why not? You 3 are perfect for the job. My cousin is pleased that I can recommend 3 men that know this district." Esther handed each man a small envelope with a $100 bill inside and a small piece of paper that said, "Thanks for showing up tonight and helping with my class." Esther gave each man a short hug and said, "I have to run. I don't want to miss a dinner at Taco Bell." Esther wished them luck as she quickly walked towards her Ninja, parked along the curb. Everyone was waiting outside for Esther to arrive. Parking by Raven's Ninja, Esther removed her hat and quickly walked up to everyone waiting. Esther was excited. "Let's have dinner. I love Taco Bell." Danielle and Tracy held the 2 doors open, reminding everyone to enjoy dinner and to order whatever they wished. Dinner would be on them. Everyone waited for Esther to enter first. As their teacher, they wanted to give her that respect. Raven and Riley Grace followed close behind, followed by Chris, Amy, Helen, and Eve, then Chris and John and his crew. Day was at the back. Esther and Day had many late-night talks, and Esther had begun to explain some security strategies used when moving about and on the street. Day was protecting the rear of their party, and with true discretion, she was making note of everything surrounding them. Esther was aware of Dave's intentions and was pleased to see that she practiced such measures. Esther had complete confidence in her sister's love and dedication to her. While that bond may be invisible, it was as strong as any two sisters could have. Esther walked up to the counter, followed by her entourage, and immediately recognized her cousin that helped move Aunt Brandy and her into their new apartment. Bowing to her cousin, Esther quickly smiled at him and spoke in Chinese. "Cousin Long, it is good to see you. How have you been?" Long was thrilled to meet Esther for a second time and quickly responded in Chinese. "Cousin Esther, I've been fine. I must say it is such an honor to see you here." Still speaking in Chinese, Esther continued, "I am pleased to hear you are doing well. I have many of my closest friends with me tonight, and we all love Taco Bell." Long smiled, saying in Chinese, "My brother will be sorry that he was not here to help serve you and your friends." Esther had an excellent memory for names and family, and so she asked in Chinese, "And how is my other cousin, Fu?" Long answered with a smile, realizing that Esther remembered his brother's name. And speaking in Chinese, "Fu is doing well. He is about to open another Taco Bell on the west side of Camp Street." Esther was impressed, and speaking in Chinese, "That is wonderful. He will do well with Taco Bell. Everyone loves Taco Bell." Raven and Riley Grace were crowding Esther as she spoke. They were hungry and hoped that whatever Esther was saying would end as they could place their orders. Esther felt a slight nudge from Raven, and so told Long, while still speaking Chinese, "My friends are all very hungry, and I want to place their orders. The world-famous W.O.W. twins have offered to pay for our meals. They are about to become extremely popular on the W.O.W. stage. They are now with Bo Jackson and are protecting him on and off the wrestling ring. That would be truly exciting." Long was a follower of the professional wrestling circuit created by the W.O.W. and was excited to see the twins. Everyone gave their orders and Danielle paid for the meals. Tracy said to her sister, "Wow, it was such a bargain to eat here. It really is priced right." Pulling several tables together in the far corner of the dining area, everyone sat down with their meals and started to discuss anything and everything. Esther mentioned to Day to sit with her. Raven sat to the right of Esther, and Riley Grace was next to Raven. Everyone enjoyed the food, and they all laughed about various subjects. In very little time, the food was gone, and everyone was just chatting on various subjects. Esther spoke up. "Tomorrow, I am taking Danielle and Tracy to the airport in the very early morning, so we won't see them again until their next visit to Chicago. At that time, I am certain they will be with the W.O.W. and have a huge following." Esther smiled. "Please say goodnight to Danielle and Tracy. They need to return home and pack for tomorrow." Everyone stood up and went to the twins, giving them hugs and kisses, while saying they will miss them. John and his crew all told the twins they had a fantastic time with them. John spoke up to Danielle and said, "I am looking forward to your coming back to Chicago. I will miss you, Danielle." John gave her a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Then he moved to Tracy and said the exact same thing. Tracy looked at Danielle and back at John. John tried to look innocent and said, "Hey, you are twins and you are both perfect. I am looking forward to having both of you back in Chicago." Danielle said to Tracy, "It is time to go. Danielle then asked, "Aunt Brandy, are you ready?" Aunt Brandy quickly said, "Sure, tomorrow's work day." So the twins and Aunt Brandy left in the Escalade. Esther turned to everyone. "The last 3 days have been great. I am going to continue to train Riley Grace on Mondays and Wednesdays at 5 p.m. sharp. Raven and Day will be there. All of you are invited if you are interested." Amy quickly came forward. "Oh, yes, Esther. Please let me come. I want so much to learn more." John, Wes, Jack, and Mike all looked at each other. Then John spoke up. Esther, we want to be there. None of us know for sure where we are going after graduation, but for as long as we can, we will be there." Chris quickly spoke up. "The same goes for me, Esther. You are an excellent teacher, and I will come for as long as possible." Chris, Helen, and Eve all spoke up at the same time, saying, "We will be there." Esther smiled. "Well then, everyone plan on eating together after our sessions, and if anyone needs a ride, call me. No one should ever be left behind because they don't have transportation." Having walked to the parking lot together, Esther sat on her Ninja and pulled on her helmet. "See everyone at school tomorrow." Esther quickly took off on her Ninja, with Raven and Riley Grace following her out of the parking lot. Esther wasn't going home. She headed for the Blue Onion bar and dinner. Stella Irene would be performing on their stage at 18 after 10, and Esther did not want to miss it. Day was following close behind along with John. Day had mentioned to John Esther's intentions. In the parking lot, Esther waited a minute or two for Day, and as they walked in, John pulled into the parking lot, and so all three joined together to enter the tavern. The Blue Onion had become enormously popular, not only for their fine cuisine, but their stage often had tomorrow's stars performing on it. The restaurant was owned by several German investors that employed a few German employees. At the entrance, Esther spoke to the young man in his 20s. You have a table reserved for Esther Saint." The man looked into his book, found Esther's name. He motioned for someone, and Esther, John, and Day were led to a table in the middle of the floor. A waiter came and took their order of iced water with several shrimp cocktails. The order would satisfy the waiter that had hopes of a large tip, and Esther, John, and Day would enjoy a light snack without eating too much more for the evening. Within minutes, the lights dimmed, and the lights pointed to the stage where the curtain was pulled open and a young woman stood in front of the audience with a 6-member band ready to support her music. "Hello, everyone," said the young lady. "I am Stella Irene, and we are here to entertain you for the next 36 minutes. The band immediately started to play, and the country music sound rang out. A steel guitar led the way as Stella Irene began her first song for the night. The music was wonderful, and everyone enjoyed it. Esther said, "She is so gifted. She has written all of her songs." John spoke up. "I really did like her music, but it seems that something was missing. Maybe she needed some special lighting." Esther thought for a moment. "John, you're right. Stella needs someone to stage her performance so that the show is presented as it should be." Esther appeared to be thinking. "I'll have to speak with my uncle. Perhaps I have a cousin that can help." At that moment, a stocky man walked up to the table, wearing a black suit with a light blue cotton shirt that was left open at the top. He greeted Esther and her friends. Welcome. I am Mario Weinstein. I hope that you have enjoyed yourselves tonight. Has everything been to your expectations? John and Day both told Mario that the food and service was wonderful. Mario turned to Esther and spoke in German. The W.O.W brothers are very good friends of mine. They say that you are under their protection. Esther took a solid look at Mario and decided he was a good guy, as tough guys go. So she replied to him in German. The W.O.W brothers are very good friends of mine. Esther added quickly, and she said this in German, and they are given my protection. Mario smiled. He was satisfied that Esther was everything that the brothers had told him she was. Esther Saint, you and your friends are always welcome here. Please use my name at the door whenever you would like to have a table for the evening. Mario leaned over Esther, gave her a kiss on the cheek. He then left and disappeared towards the front entrance of the restaurant. Day watched Mario leave. Esther, do you trust that man? Esther smiled and had a thought of her past. My father told me once that Germans are slow to trust people, but when Mario gave me a kiss on the cheek, that was his acceptance of me. If he trusts me, then it is safe to say that I should be able to trust him. Esther smiled and added, within reason. Esther again smiled. It is getting late. Should we call it a night? John spoke up. Esther, it is so wonderful to follow you around. I hope you don't mind. Esther quickly responded, John, you're my big brother. Having you alongside of me is always a good thing. Esther looked at Day. You should stay with me tonight. You can help me say goodbye to the twins in the morning. Day responded, I told Dad that I might stay the night. I think he is getting used to that. Esther picked up the bill, and it was marked no charge. So she placed a $20 bill next to the bill as a tip, and everyone stood up and left. Outside, Esther and Day had their Ninja ready to go as John warmed up the engine on his Ninja. Esther said to John, see you in the morning, John. Esther and Day pulled on their helmets and took off. John was close behind. Esther and Day entered the apartment and found a note on the kitchen counter written by Danielle, Esther, and Day. Please join us in Esther's bed. It is our last night together. Esther smiled and said to Day, I think that we have two big sisters. Is that all right with you? Day didn't hesitate. The twins are wonderful. They make wonderful big sisters. Esther smiled. I must exercise, but you look tired. Why don't you join the twins, and I will join all of you in a little more than an hour. Day said, you're right. I need to sleep. I wonder what we will experience tonight with the twins in your bed. I believe that it will be the truth, whatever it is, Esther quickly said. I will join you as soon as possible. After her usual 1-hour routine and a quick shower, Esther went to her bedroom to find Day sandwiched between the twins. Esther climbed onto the bed, naked, and positioned herself between Day and Tracy. Esther was now ready for some deep sleep. Esther awoke first. She was wide awake and went straight to the bathroom. Sitting on the toilet, Esther reviewed in her mind the dreams from earlier. Day walked into the bathroom and looked in the mirror. Wow, that was the creepiest dream that I have ever had. If that dream was reality, then we have some challenges ahead of us. Esther looked at Day, smiled, and said, we are stronger than Satan. Day said, that guy was really spooky. Esther tried to console Day again. Day smiled Esther. Satan will always lose in the end. Esther added, love and goodness is far stronger than fear and intimidation. The twins slowly entered the restroom, appearing only half awake. They both leaned on the sinks and waited for Esther to finish on the toilet. Tracy said, "I slept really deep. I can't remember any of my dreams." Danielle spoke with a sleepy voice. "I don't think that I did dream. I remember falling asleep and then waking up." Esther stood up and flushed the toilet. Tracy quickly sat down and thanked Esther for warming the toilet seat. Tracy laughed at herself for being so clever. Danielle grabbed a face towel that was on the sink and ran some water for it. Eventually, Danielle was able to wash her face with warm water. She leaned into the mirror and commented, "I guess that I have looked worse." Tracy was finished on the toilet and quickly flushed it. Danielle moved over to use it. As Danielle sat on the toilet, she asked, "Is it time to be up?" "It is 5 o'clock. You can sleep another hour if you want," said Esther. "Crap," said Danielle. "We leave today, don't we?" The last few days really went quickly. Danielle wiped, then flushed the toilet, and reached for her toothbrush. "Esther, I am so glad that you use Colgate toothpaste. I love it. I can use anything, but it is what our father used, and I just like to follow tradition." Tracy chuckled and picked up where Danielle had left off. "I agree that time has gone quickly, but I am missing the audience and the show. It is time to move on. Besides, we will return." Esther smiled. "Anytime you're in town, we are here, and you need to stay with us." Day quickly added, "Esther is right. You have a home here. We want you both to come home whenever you are in town." The twins remained up and watched Esther do her morning routine, and then, at the twins' request, Esther prepared waffles and sausage for them. Esther and Day took the twins to the airport, but had to leave for school, leaving them at the front terminal. The twins were on their own, which was nothing new for them, but Esther knew they were more capable than ever of handling the new role before them. And that is the end of Chapter 2, Book 3. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, be safe and take care.